This is an overview of Excel Chapter 1, Problem 1 and 2. So suppose at the beginning of May 2006 you purchased shares in Apple. It's now 5 years later and you've decided to evaluate your holding to see if you have done well with this investment. The table below shows the market price for Apple. Enter the data as shown into a worksheet and format the table as shown. So you can see this in your book. This is what it would look like. So they want you to enter the data and format correctly. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to type APPL stock prices. And then I'm going to type date and price. And then it's 2006 and 59.77. 2007, 12119. 2008, 188.75, 2009, 135.81, 2010, 256.88, and 2011, 337.41. Now, they want us to format this. In this, it was bold here, so I'm going to highlight and make them bold. And then this one was merged and centered, so I'm going to merge that and center. These were just centered. And then this was gray, so I'm going to go and fill with gray. I'm also going to make these about the same. And these numbers were also centered. And then there were borders. So if you go up here, I'm going to make an all around, all outside border. And then these ones had all outside plus the inside, all borders. And these also had all borders. And now you have the Apple stock formatted. So, create a formula to calculate the rate of return for each year. Format the results as a percentage with 2 decimal points. So now we're going to calculate a return. So I'm going to merge and center this across 3, and then I'm going to call this column return. Actually, I'm just going to drag this over. A little shortcut here. And type return, and then it's already formatted correctly. So, I think this has a border around it. Outside borders. So, let's calculate our rate of return. For year 1, there's no rate of return. For year 2, it equals year 1 divided by year 2 minus 1. So, it's our current year divided by our previous year minus 1. And then we're going to format that as a percentage. And you can actually have decimal points. We're going to put border around all of this. And then I'm basically going to drag down the formula. Okay, so C says calculate the total return for the entire holding period and what is the compounding average annual rate of return. Okay, total return. And so what we are going to do is take the ending number divided by the beginning number minus 1. So rate of return is 465%. Compounding average rate of return. Equals, and we're going to put it in parentheses, beginning divided by ending, and then to the and there's 5 years, so 1 divided by 5, and then minus 1. So the compounding annual average rate of return is 41.36. I'm sure this has decimals. So that is your total rate of return and your compounding average rate of return. Create a line chart showing the stock price from May 2006 to May 2011. Make sure to title the chart and label the axis. So, insert chart. So we're going to create a line chart. So we are going to highlight just the price. We're going to insert a line chart. And then we're going to go to layout, chart title, and we're going to create the price, and it is APPL stock price. And then we are going to do an access title, and this is years. And then we're going to do the vertical axis, stock. So now we are going to change, we're going to select this, select the years. Oops, maybe. And we're going to hit select data. And we're going to hit edit. And we're going to select the years. So now, here we are. So I'm going to drag this out of the way so you can see the rest of the stuff. Now, it says, now create a scatter plot with the same data. Insert scatter. Apple stock price scatter. I have to select the data, select the years. Natural history. Select data. And then edit. So now we're going to select data. We're going to click edit, and the X series equals the date. And then hit enter. Click OK. Okay. So now we have a scatter plot as well. Which type of these charts do you think is more appropriate for this data? I would say a line chart is more appropriate for this data. Experiment with formatting possibilities for the chart. For example, you might want to try a 3D line chart. And you can go to design, and you could go to this. So we could change it to a 3D line chart for a different color. Depending on what we're trying to show, it would be more appropriate to do this with some or others. This one has a black background. You don't have to pick a black background. So you can just experiment with formatting. Sometimes it says you could pick a marble background. Change chart type. We could go to a 3D line. You could change the background. But some are more appropriate than others. Go back here. And you could fill the plotted area with a marble background. So if you want to format the chart area and you want to do fill with picture or text, you could fill with marble, fill with fish. I'm not sure this is appropriate, but as you understand, you can fill the background with a whole bunch of different things. So now we're going to move on. This was problem 1. Now we're going to move on to problem 2. I just need to copy that from the book. So problem number 2. In your current position as a research assistant for a portfolio manager, you will need to analyze the profitability of the companies in the portfolio using the data below for Chevron Corporation, fiscal year 10-9-8-7-6, and here is the total revenue and net income for each of those years. Calculate the profit margin for each year. So the very first thing we're going to have to do is put this in here. So we can format the chart. This is what it would look like in the book. So I will format it just like that. So fiscal year 2010. One question might be, can we copy this? Let's see how to copy this. So, yes, we can copy this. I'm going to delete this row, highlight, delete, and here we are. So then we're going to format this. We're going to center all these numbers. And then let's see what the chart looks like. Total revenue, total income. So these all have borders all the way around. And I believe this was gray. So based on this chart, calculate the profit margin for each year. So profit margin equals net income divided by total revenue. Format as a percentage. I'll probably give some decimal points to this. And basically I'm just going to drag my formula over to save myself from typing all of this. Okay. Calculate the average annual growth rates for revenue and net income using the geomean function. Is net income growing more slowly or fastly than total revenue? Is this a positive to your investment? Okay, so we are first going to calculate the sales growth. So this is for the overall. So we are going to take first year divided by minus 1. So that's total revenue growth. Sorry. Yep, revenue growth. Now net income growth. Let me fix that. So we are going to take this divided by this. And then it's 4 years, 1 divided by 4. and then minus 1. Now we're going to calculate net income growth. This divided by this exponent to the 1 divided by 4 minus 1. So we've had a decrease in sales, but an increase in net income. Now we're going to calculate the change in sales. This divided by this, oops, sales, change in sales. This divided by this equals this divided by this. Equals this divided by this. Divided by this. This divided by. Okay. I'll just make this 2 decimals. And now it says use the geomean function. Geomean. Select all these. Minus 1. And format as a percent. And it should equal the sales growth calculation that we used up here. So this formula created the same thing as doing this out. Calculate the average annual growth rate of total revenue using the average function. Is the result more or less accurate than your previous? Why? So we are going to calculate the average growth rate using the average function. Average, open up the parentheses, go here, minus 1, 2%. It's not as accurate as the previous one. Create a column chart using net income. Be sure to change the X label axis to contain the year. So our final step is to create a column chart. Okay, so we are going to highlight this and we are going to hit Insert, Column, Chart. And then we are going to go to Layout, Chart Title, above the chart, and chevron, income, revenue, and net income. And then I'm going to go and go select data, and then I'm going to hit edit. I'm going to tell it what we want the x-axis to label, 2008. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to go back to Format chart area, and then I'm going to tell it actually I'm going to go to the axis title and we're going to say years, and then I'm going to go to axis title and then I'm going to say dollars. So far so good. I want to format the axis. So I'm going to click on the axis, I'm going to click Format Axis, and I'm going to click Change Categories in Reverse Order, so it goes from 6 to 10, because that's the correct order when presenting financial information. And there you have it. And this was problem 1 and 2 in chapter 1.